Welcome to this 2021 Esri Developer Summit session. My name is Jonathan Key, and today we will be exploring UI controls via the combo box in ArcGIS Pro SDK. To get started, we will first discuss the controls and item templates in general and provide a brief attribute overview for controls. The user interface controls come in a variety of forms, including the button template dropdown, the inline gallery list, the checkbox, the menu button dropdown and percentage slider, the gallery selector, the simple button, and the combo box, which we'll see more on later. The best way to create controls in an ArcGIS Pro SDK project is to use the item templates workflow. We will be demonstrating this later on, but the first step is to right-click the project in Visual Studio, select Add, and then click New Item. This will launch the Add New Item window. On the left, we can select the ArcGIS Pro Add-in category to see all the available item templates in the center list. We can then select an item template, in this case an ArcGIS Pro combo box control template, and add it to our project. Once we add an item template, we notice that item templates utilize the model view model convention present in ArcGIS Pro. When the item is created, a demo file for the UI is made, and a CS file for the code behind is made. The CS file normally contains a pre-generated code snippet or commonly used override method to help us get started. The config.demo file contains information about the add-in and main module. It also contains attributes for the item or control. Control elements share several DAML attributes. With looking at controls specifically, it's good to note a few common DAML attributes often shared across the controls. The ID is the required identifier of the control. The caption is the text label displayed near the control. The class name is the required class identifier for the control object identified in the code behind. Load on click delays the creation of the actual control until it's clicked. The tooltip displays a description of the control when mousing over the control itself. The disable if busy attribute automatically disables the control if the app or UR thread is busy. The condition attribute automatically disables the control if the condition is not met. For example, if the control is not needed for the current context. And the key tip is the key for the key tip navigation mode used for accessibility. We'll see a number of these attributes in our demo later on. Now that we have learned a few things about controls in general, let's examine the combo box in more detail as a control element example. The combo box consists of a drop-down list for selecting items or optionally for entering new text. We'll see a bit on that in our second demo. Here we see the combo box caption or name and the sample items in the drop-down list. The is editable and is read-only attributes specify how the combo box behaves depending on their true-false state. Is editable enables or disables editing of the text in the text box. Is read only sets the selection only mode in which the contents of the combo box are selectable but not editable. The default is false and true respectively when initially creating the combo box. Is editable false and is read only true restricts the user interaction in most ways, while is editable true and is read only false allows the user the most interaction with the combo box. Now that we have a basic idea about controls and the combo box, let's see it in action. All right, let's open Visual Studio and begin the first demo. We want to create a new project. In this case, an ArcGIS Pro module add-in project. We'll name the project Pro Box and click Create. This launches us into the config.daml file, which we can see houses the module attributes and also allows us to create a group for controls. Down here is where the controls are added. All right, to create the combo box, right-click, go to Add, and New Item. We can sort by the ArcGIS Pro add-ins category, and then we can select the ArcGIS Pro combo box. Click Add. When we add the combo box, we're greeted with the CS file that shows us the code behind the control. Here we see the snippet of code that is created for us that automatically adds items to the combo box. And we see where it enables the combo box to display. In the config.daml file, we also see that the control has automatically added the attributes into the control section of the daml file. Here we see the ID for the combo box, also the caption, the class name, which references the .cs file, and also the is editable false and is read only true attributes that are set up by default. We also see the tooltip section where we have the tooltip text, which will display if we mouse over the control. Now let's start. Building. This will create the procombobox.esri add-in x file, which is automatically installed to the known location for ArcGIS Pro. So when we go to Start, Add-in, ArcGIS Pro will launch. All right, when ArcGIS Pro launches, we notice that there is an add-in tab. This tab will show us our add-in that we just created. We see the combo box 1, which is the caption that we had, and the item 0, and this is the list of items that we automatically populated with our control. So we'll close ArcGIS Pro. And that will end the first demo. Returning to our slides for a second, we've seen how to create a control element with the item template workflow, using the combo box as an example. And we've seen the basic file structure, attributes, and functionality of the combo box. Now let's move a little past the basics and build on the combo box template. The next demo will show two workflows that take advantage of the basic concepts we have learned. First, we'll see how to interact between different controls in the code. In this case, by using a button control to reverse the combo box list order. Then we'll see how changing the isEditable and isReadOnly attributes allow a user to enter their own item into the combo box list. Let's get started with our second demo on these combo box workflows. All right, here we have our combo box add-in from before. And the first thing we'd like to do is to set up the combo box as a variable in the module. The module is a singleton class and kind of acts as a hub for our control elements in our add-in. So we'd like to add this bit of code here to be able to capture the combo box. And then we'd like to add a bit more code to be able to get and set the combo box. And then we'd like to open up the combo box itself and add a few lines of code here as well. So we'd first like to set up an internal list of combo box items. And this list will better allow us to manipulate the items so we can do the reverse of the combo box list. Then we'd like to add the code that references the module itself. So we want to add this combo box into the module so we can basically be able to grab it with the control button later on. And then we want to be able to update this section of code where we add the items to the combo box itself. All right, so here we're setting the array list, and we're adding the new combo box items to the items list, similar as before. This time we're copying all of the item collection into the combo box itself. Next, we'll want to set up the methods to actually reverse the combo box list. So we'll copy in this snippet of code here. So this will reverse the combo box item lists. And so if the combo box is initialized, we also want to save out the selected item as a string right here. So we can then reassign it back later. So the user is still selecting the item they initially had. Then we want to reverse the list of the items and then assign that back to the combo box itself here. Let me just put in the helper class that deals with returning the selected item. So this is a helper method. It returns the object matching the item name from the item collection, that is the combo box itself, and then used for reselecting in item after item collection is changed. So we want to have that in there. All right, so now that we have those in, let me put a breakpoint at this point here so we can see what happens when we hit this later on. And then at this point, we want to add the button itself that we're going to use. We're going to do this the same way as we added the combo box item before. So we want to select the ArcGIS Pro button and add that here. And we add that here. We want to grab the current module for the added, and then we want to get the combo box, and then we want to get the reverse combo box items method. Then we'd like to go over to the config.daml file, which we can see has automatically populated the attributes for the button here. So we got the ID and the caption. We actually like to change the caption to reverse combo list. Save that. Then we have the class name here, and then also the tooltip. And then we'd like to save that. Go back over here to combo box. And then we like to build a solution. And then launch ArcGIS Pro. Once ArcGIS Pro is started, go to the Add-in tab, and we can see that since we had changed the caption for the button, it now shows up here, reverse combo box list. And then we also have the combo box items itself here. So if we select item 2 and then the reverse combo box button, we see that we hit our breakpoint here for the selected item, and we can step through. Item 2 has been selected, and then the items list we can see is sorted 0 through 5. Going to the next thing, we can see that the items have been reversed 5 through 0, and then we're going to assign that to the combo box and then reselect our item 2 here. So if we continue, we see that item 2 is still selected, but our list is now reversed 5 through 0, and then we can do it again 0 through 5. And that concludes the first workflow that we have. All right, the second workflow that we have has to do with changing the attributes for is editable and is read only for the combo box. So we'd first like to go into the config.daml file and then find those attributes here. And we want to set the is editable to true, and then the is read only to false. Now, once we set those up, we also want to go into the combobox.cs file itself and add some code here to override the actions that take place when a user interacts with the combo box. So first we like to add this section of code, which allows us to override the on text changed. And got to add the variable itself here to keep the text in the new item here. So what this will do is it will read in the text the user types, and then if that text is not null or full of white spaces or empty string, because we don't want those in our list, it will then assign that text to our new item string that we have here. Once that happens, though, we want to be able to update the list with the new item. So we're going to do that by overriding this next method, which is the onEnter method. So when the user has finished typing their new item in, they'll hit enter, and then we will read that item. Here we'll determine if the new item is already in the collection, because we don't want to have duplicates in this case. So we add the new item if it's not already part of the collection, or if it's not a null or white space item. So we'll come in here and we'll create the new combo box item based on our string, and we'll add it to our items array list. Then we'll update the combo box using the copy from method, and then we'll update the selected item to the last or default, because the new item that we're adding will always be added to the end of the items list, so we will select the last or default item here. Let's put a breakpoint at this point and see this in action. Let's build the solution and then run it in ArcGIS Pro. All right, so we go to the Add-in tab here, and we can see when we select the combo box, we now select the text inside the combo box itself, and we actually can interact with it. So if we type in a new item and hit enter, we'll hit this breakpoint that we set up here, which shows us that our new item has captured the test1 text that I just typed in, and is about to add it to the items list. So we have 6 items at the moment. We step over this and view the list. We now have 7 with text1 here. Update the combo box itself, and then update the selected to the text1, which is what we have here. So we'll continue. And now test1 is added to the list of the combo box. We can add another like this. Now test2 is added as well. This also works with the reverse combo list button. So now we have reversed the list here. If we try to type in a item that is already in the list and hit enter, nothing will happen because we have avoided that case to populate into the list. All right, so that concludes the second workflow for this demo. In closing, I hope this session helps you take full advantage of these great tools in your next ArcGIS Pro project. Thanks for watching.